This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by IndyWrestling.us. Check out IWC, RWA, and more. And listeners like you, support this show at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show.
Hungry as fuck, but I ain't starving yet. Chain for the pain, cocktail dog set. Never said I was a gangster or thug, but I'm an animal. Beating for the taste of the blood.
Hey guys, it's Indy Mayhem Show, Sorgatron here, and we are in West Virginia at the Black Diamond Plex. You can see the set behind us if you're joining us on video, of course, here ringside before the show. And we got back with us. We'll unfreeze him like the mannequin in that old Nickelodeon show. Magnum CK back on the show. We caught up with you.
Yeah.
Because you're freaking everywhere these days.
Oh, for better and for worse sometimes. Like, it's great. Don't get me wrong. It's like a blessing. I'm happy to be so busy. But there are some times where I'm like, oh, I'm so sleepy. But no, I'm having a great time. Yeah, I'm glad we could catch up. I know we were like talking about like when can I come through Pittsburgh and get to the studio, but she's like, we're all these different places. So
absolutely,
I'm glad to catch up with you down here, man.
So last time we had you on, you were you were just kind of in a transition period.
Yeah.
I think you were going from the your team with Jock Sampson
right.
to I don't even know how to define the new Magnum CK
sure.
right now.
Went from being in a team with Jock Sampson to being partners with Jock Sampson. No.
yeah, exactly, right?
It's 21st century.
It's been an eventful while, hasn't it?
No. Yeah, it was a weird thing. So, like, someone shared the interview I did with you last time, and I had, like, the 80s kind of look thing going on.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure it out, but, I started it up at AIW, and they're like, we want to put you in this like theatrical like group of actors or theater guys, and I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense because I've been doing theater for like 15 years.
Yeah. And
it was John Thorne at AIW. He's like, haven't you been doing theater for like 15 years? Like, you should do some of that in your act. And I was like, yeah. Like, wow, that's what I know. That would make sense to do that in wrestling. So yeah, it's funny. Just not to like name drop. I hate to drop too many names around here, but I was just on a show up in Toronto and just backstage hanging out. Santino Marella just showed up. He lives up there, and he's just kind of talking. And I came out, I had my big cape on, my big robe cape, and I walked out. And we had talked a little bit before, but I walked out, he goes, what's your deal? What are you in the choir? And then I realized, I was like, yeah, I need to have an elevator pitch. So I just kind of explained, like, it's this big theatrical, like.
Were you wearing the big robe?
Yeah, I was getting ready to go wrestle. It was RJ City and I were wrestling, and I was getting ready to go out and wrestle him, so I'm kind of laughing with Santino, he's joking around. But my whole thing is, like, I didn't really want it to be like a pro wrestling plumber or like a hillbilly, or you know what I mean? Like, that's fine, that's all fine. But I was like, I just want to be a big, eccentric, theatrical wrestler, So that's what I tried to explain to Santino, and he's like, oh, that's great. I told him what my whole goal was. The second I walked through the curtain, I want everyone to have an opinion and know what this guy is. You know what I mean? Like, better or worse, they're like, this guy's a jerk or this guy's awesome or whatever it is. But because so many guys, like, so many guys don't think about that type of stuff. Right. Where it's like people
they overcomplicate.
Well, they decide or under, over or under. But the people decide like that. What you are and what if they care or not. So my thought was, if I just have this big flashy thing, and I do this big slow entrance, it just kind of evolved. You know what I'm saying?
I think the first major thing, and I know talking with a certain IWC promoter, Justin Plummer.
Yeah.
You had a 5-second match with Shane in your face, whatever his name is these days.
Yeah, Victor Benjamin.
And you're knocking people's hats off as you were coming out with your arms extended in the crowd. Plus your reaction of getting knocked out by Shane in your face, who's a legitimate MMA fighter.
You're right.
So nothing to take away from him.
Who did he ever beat?
Apparently everybody in MMA he ever faced.
Right.
He didn't do as well in boxing, but still.
Yeah, right.
So that was when I was told that promoter particularly was sold on you.
Well,
was that? And I'm just like, it was a 5-second match.
It's fun. Moments, man.
But everything around it.
That was the thing. The ring broke right before we were first matching. The ring broke, and it was late. Everything was late.
Yeah.
And I don't care. I mean, it's inside baseball, but I don't think I'm ruining wrestling for anybody. I mean, whatever.
Not on this show.
Right. But it's one of those deals where Plummer he was in an awkward position where he had to be like, you guys had it 10 minutes. now you have 3. You know what I mean? And we weren't the only ones. It's just what happened.
And you do have a very slow entrance, so
well, right. So that's what I pitched. I remember like there was some resistance because I was just I was a secondary kind of tag team guy to some people, you know. And I think IWC
and
was
you were coming off of that with Jock at the
right,
time,
but at the time, this is what I was kind of my perception's everything. Perception's reality. So that's just what they saw. They're like, oh, that's the guy who rode up with Jock or whatever. And it's like, well, there's more to it than that, you know. But you have to show him. So he's like, you got 3 minutes. He's like, could you guys just squeeze your match into 3? And I was like, I mean, I guess. I was like, but what if we did this? Like, I have this big, long entrance I've been doing, which is great because the first time I do it somewhere, they never know what to make of it. They're like, what is this guy? Because I just arms out, like, just walk as slow as I can around the ring. And then, so I did that, and everyone's like, what is this? So Shane came out, I did my big long entrance, but my idea was flash finish. He's an MMA guy. You've watched UFC where it's like ding, 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 boom, what happened? He's out, you know. So it's like, instead of squeezing all this into 3 minutes, let's have a 3-minute segment, a 1-minute entrance, a 10-second match, and then a minute of me falling
and a
over
hot
in the
start to a big night.
Well, right. And it got a big pop, because nobody expected it. Plus, it was set up beautifully. It's like I came out, did this big, long thing, ducked the clothesline, bang, out cold, 1, 2, 3. What just happened? Then I'm like Terry Funk falling in the front row.
Where it was okay to be just an entrance.
Well, right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I could get all these moves in and all these things in, but we got so much more out of a memorable segment, like a memorable moment. And I think that's a lesson I learned that night for sure. Because it's like, you tried it because, like, we love the fan. I mean, every wrestler loves the fans or they wouldn't do it. So everyone's trying to give you everything, give the fans everything, squeeze everything into the match that they can. But sometimes less is a little more. You know, we did a lot less, but it was an entertaining segment. You know, if I could just like stroke my own ego, I guess. But it's funny because Plumber, like, hi Plumber, he was like wishy-washy. He's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, that's weird. That's weird. And then he came up to me after and shook my hand and was like, you were right. That was great. Thank you so much. You know, I was like, well, thanks for letting me. You know, I guess I didn't have a choice once I got out there. But
yeah, exactly. Well, from there, of course, you know, one of the big things, I see a lot of what AIW does, and you're part of the production up there.
Yeah.
And it looks like you guys are having a lot of fun. And, like, you have this factual, Jimmy Jacobs is a part of it, Derek Direction.
Well, right, yeah. So we have a lot of guys. It's 5 of us now, and it's just been a blessing. It's changed so much in my wrestling career, you know. And I owe it all to just the Cleveland fans and AIW and John Thorne, like, for real. But I've never been accepted anywhere as much as I have in that Cleveland crowd. It's crazy. I've never gotten those kind of reactions anywhere. I mean, I get good reactions up in Greektown and Toronto and stuff like that, but something about that AIW crowd, like, we just are simpatico, you know, we just connect. But it's just been a game changer for me. It's a lot of fun, man. I mean, that's the other cool thing is, you know, they've booked us great, but, you know, we also have a lot of freedom. So I'm like, what if we tried this? Because I was nervous. I won't lie. Like, I was familiar with AIW was always a goal of mine, but I didn't, like, pursue it in the sense of, like, let me bother the promoter. I was just like, man, that'd be cool to get up there. Like, geez. So I followed their product. And there's so much talent. Like, it's insane, the talent that's up there. And my thought is the Cleveland fans have seen everything. Like, when I was debuting up there, it was a singles match, and it was like, what am I going to do? Like, I got to try to come up to that performance level of these guys, you know, who are coming in and showing them everything, these world-renowned athletes and stuff. And I was like, man, you know what? I'm just going to dig in deeper on what I am and go back to, like, my old school type of feel. And I just went the other way. That's kind of what I think about in wrestling. I try to look what everyone's doing, and I'm like, oh, you guys are here? Like, I'm going to go, like, 3 feet this way, you know, like, and see what I can do.
Definitely.
And just stick out. So I can at least be I might not be better, I might not be worse, but I can be different. And within a few minutes, I slapped on an Indian deathlock, and we got old school wrestling chants going. So, and I was like, okay, all right. Like, they were
They appreciate it.
We got something different. That's the other
thing
is, like, instead of trying to do amazing acrobatics like so many of the guys do and failing, which miserably like I would have, I just dug in on what I think I'm good at, and it worked out. You know, so that's a good lesson, I think, too.
Another interesting thing I've been able to witness is in Rise Wrestling. That's Rise with a Y. We always have to point that out.
Right.
Down there south of Pittsburgh. If You Wheel has been happening there.
That was a germ of an idea I thought I hadn't seen, because, you know, wheels and stuff like spin the wheel, do the deal, or spin the wheel, make a deal, lethal lottery, all that. I've always liked that type of stuff, and I thought no one's done like a game show segment, like straight up, like I'm trying to make this a game show. So I kind of had this like Andy Kaufman-esque type of thing of like, what if I'm just trying to make a game show happen, but it's all falling down around me, and like the audience isn't doing what I wanted to do, and it's like, you know. And it
heel Bradley.
You're right. Yeah, it went really well. It was a lot of fun. But the damn wheel it's great. The guy who made it for me is amazing, and he's a big wrestling fan.
Yeah, it's got to be a lot of fun to transport to the show.
It's heavy. It's heavy and big. Yeah, that's why. Because I came in here today, like, did you bring the wheel? And I was like, no, the wheel needs a payday. I think. Like, slip the wheel an envelope. I think to get the wheel. The wheel's sleeping today.
He has another booking.
My wife decorated it, and everything, and like it just looks amazing. So we're definitely going to keep using it. It was just, I'm debuting up here, and I was like, let's debut one of us at a time. Like, let's do me first, and then the wheel. And
then the tag team partner comes in.
Right. Well, that was the thing. So, like, in Rise, I was like, I could do both. I'll debut there and debut the wheel. And then I got there, and I was like, well, this is a lot of information for people. Like, who's this guy in the cape, and what's this wheel?
And they were doing videos. They were doing,
Yeah, that's my thing. I love doing all that stuff, the promotion stuff. It's the most fun.
I think they teased it for like 3 months.
Well, I just kept sending them videos. I was like, would you mind playing these on your shows? They're like, absolutely. That's another thing out there, guys. Like, especially like professionals watching. If you're making promo photos and videos and stuff, promoters want it. They just want it. Why would they turn down free content?
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's awful. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, we've seen those too.
Just try it. That's what I was thinking today. I was like, listen, anybody in this crowd could retweet a poster, but film a video.
Absolutely.
Why not? Like, everyone has a smartphone.
Yeah.
Come on.
So, like I said, we're here in Black Diamond here in West Virginia. Your debut down here. What do we have to expect here? Of course, by the time anybody hears this, it'll be past. But
well, I just ate a huge calzone. So if I crawl under the ring,
you know what's happening. Yeah,
I'm getting color under the ring.
Yeah.
But no, the funny thing, I wrestled for Black Diamond a long time ago. I don't even know if they remember, but my first time around in wrestling, it was like 2005, my rookie year, or 4 or 5, whatever it was. I did like a couple of shows for them up here, but we'll just forget about that. Same with AIW. Like, I debuted up there, and it's like, I did a battle royal for you guys in like 05. But it doesn't count. So yeah, I'm excited to be here. It's a really interesting building, and I've heard it's a great crowd. It's kind of my kind of crowd. I try to be able to fit in anywhere. I want to be the guy who can wrestle anybody and can wrestle in front of any crowd and find my little slice of the pie in there.
Absolutely.
But I've heard that this is the type of crowd that's going to really like my kind of deal, or hate my kind of deal, I guess, probably more importantly, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm just, I don't, just like Brett in Canada, I don't lose in West Virginia. So I just don't know how we're going to work that out, but it's probably not going to work for me, brother.
We'll see how that goes. You say following you on the social media. It sounds like the theater's going great.
Yeah. It's at the Magnum CK. The big event coming up, outside of Black Diamond here, is Absolution, AIW, July 27th. You can grab your tickets, and they're going fast because Scott Steiner. Oof. Scott Steiner's going to be there. And
are you interacting with Scott Steiner?
I will try my best to just not do anything to draw negative attention.
That was my take when I ran into him at WrestleCon one time.
I've heard he's a nice enough guy. Like, he's nice and everything. But like, my thing is, like, I would hate to be the guy that makes Scott Steiner mad. Because it's like, I don't want to disappoint Scott Steiner. But the tickets are shopped at AIWrestling.com, and they're almost like front row. I think is like, by the time you see this, it might be gone. I don't know, but like, they're going fast.
Yeah, so. I've been up there for one of those back when they had, I think it was the most expensive tag team ever, when they had like Joe and Gargano and all those guys and the Bucks, like before they were like an 8-man tag, DJZ, like all of them belonged, like every television promotion was represented in this
It was
match.
like Team Cleveland versus Team TV or something like that.
It was like guys on TV versus not.
Right.
But even the guys that weren't were like the Young Bucks and Johnny Gargano.
Well, AIW is always a good standby anyway, but they're on a big hot streak right now.
Absolutely.
And as soon as they announced Scott Steiner, it was like tickets, bang. So grab them, because there is a capacity to that building. I've seen it sold out before. I mean, they can pack them in, but man,
which building are they in this year?
They're in Our Lady of Mount Carmel.
Okay.
So that's where they've been running for a while now, and it holds several, a few hundred. But like I said, I mean, it could be standing room only easily. So
I think it's the hottest ticket in Cleveland right now.
For sure,
definitely. So Magnum CK, check them out online. A lot of cool stuff going on. A lot of videos.
I tried to freeze at the end, but I gave up on that. It's a callback to the beginning, but it doesn't matter.
Thanks for chatting with us. Good luck tonight at Black Diamond. Of course, everybody, please check out everything, including matches with this guy at indywrestling.us. And until next time, support indie wrestling. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.